Our next speaker is Zachary Barnes. Zach has spent the last 14 years working with Dr. Nancy Klimas's research enterprise in a variety of roles covering clinical research recruitment, laboratory coordination, and data management analytics. He is currently leading the recruitment efforts for the Gulf War illness studies at the Miami VA Medical Center under the direction of clinical operation nurse executive Fanny Collado. I'm going to hand it over to you, Zach.
So just what I want to kind of talk about here is what happens when you decide you want to participate in research? What could you expect, right? One of the things we're trying to be better at is being more informative of the process, being more upfront about expectations, because, you know, I've seen in the chat, it's frustrating, and I hear that frustration. We all do, and it's not okay. So this is the way we're trying to fix it, right? When you call us, when you reach out to us, the first thing that you have to understand is that we're going to take extreme steps to protect your information, right? Because your information is private, it's yours. We want to make sure nothing happens to it, right? So the first thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be reaching back out to you and giving you some information that you're seeking, right? Let's say you call this the VA number or the VHA, email the VHA MIA GWI at va.gov. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a call from one of the recruitment team members, one of the clinical coordinators, and they're going to try to provide you with the information that you're seeking. If you're interested in participating in the clinical trial, they're going to give you the information about that clinical trial, what's involved, but they're also going to tell you about other studies that might be available to you. And the reason is because some of those studies may require much less that you can't be involved in when you're on a clinical trial. So logistically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to find the best fit for you, right? Now, you know, not just what is involved, what time is involved, right? What level of effort? Do you have to come into a physical location? Is it something that can be done from the comfort of your home? Is it something that's strictly online, or is it something that can be done virtually? We just started a number of virtual clinical trials. So we're also explaining at that first stage the risk, right? What risks might be involved. And the reason we do that is we want to make sure that the information is out there, like I said, that we're upfront, and more importantly, that you're comfortable with proceeding. No one in any recruitment role should be trying to convince you of anything, right? That's the number one thing we're taught. That's the number one thing that we hammer on, right? We are here to help. We are here to provide information. We want you to understand what the research is about, and then encourage you to participate, but only if that's something that you're willing to do. It is participation. It is not required. The next thing that's going to be happening is you're going to be having a more detailed conversation about your medical history, about any medications you might be taking, any symptom information that we need to gather, as well as service information. We're going to be talking about any existing conditions that you might have. Some of those conversations may seem general, other times they may seem extremely specific. And the reason is that for some of the clinical trials, there are certain things that you might have, gallstones. A history of gallstones would indicate that you can't participate in the glutathione curcumin clinical trial just because of some of the side effects of that medication. So being honest and upfront about that, we certainly appreciate it, because at the end of the day, what we're doing is we're saving time, and that time is yours. We want to protect your time. You've already done so much for us by serving your country. You've already done so much for us by participating in any past research. We don't want to waste your time. So the next thing that would then happen is the consent process, right? That in-person visit, and again, this usually is happening in person, but if it's a virtual trial, then it would happen on the phone with one of our nurse coordinators. Should you be eligible based on your pre-screening information, you go into what's called a consent process, where you're understanding the risks, you're understanding what the process is in detail, and you're agreeing to participate while knowing that at any time you can say, no, this is not what I'm interested in, right? What that process is it's protecting your rights as a participant. Now, we do get, and I know that the other speakers have touched on this before, there is frustration when you're not eligible to participate in something due to an existing condition, due to not being the right age or gender. That'll happen for that particular study. What we're trying to be more upfront about is what other opportunities are out there. Obviously, I recruit for Dr. Klimas's studies and Dr. Sullivan's studies and some of the other investigators that you're going to hear from today. I want you to participate in our studies. That said, if you can, I'm more than happy to give you any information I have to participate in other people's studies, because if you're interested in doing research, it's about fit. It's about what's right for you. So once you're scheduled for the in-person appointment or the virtual appointment, once you come in, you're going to receive that consent. That's the first thing that's going to happen. Once you've been consented, then you're going to enter into what's called the screening and enrollment process. That's what we call a final check, right? We're trying to take a very detailed look at what specific requirements the study has for entry, what specific exclusion criteria exist, so that, again, before bringing you into the door to do any sort of intervention, before having you do the bulk of the work for the project, we make certain that you're eligible, right? We want to make sure to answer these important research questions. We want to answer the questions about whether potential treatments are going to work, and the only way that we could do that is by being thorough. Now, once we do all that, once you pass through the screening process, then you're in the study, you're enrolled. You conduct all of your questionnaires, any blood work that might be involved. Once that happens and you've completed that process, we actually are going to reach back out to you, because we want to know how it went. We want to see where we can improve. We want to see, were there any hiccups in the process? Because obviously that happens and we want to be better. Our work isn't done. And obviously it's not going to be done until we get things moved a lot further forward. And everyone that served and continues to serve by participating in research, really, we thank you for your service, because without you, we can't get the job done. So when we do talk to you about feedback, we want your honest feedback. Because we want to be, first of all, there to hear your concerns, but also to make it better and to fix it. And I thank you all for your time.